Hello, welcome to the Willie Bragg Show. Let me get rid of that. Hello, welcome to the Willie Bragg Show. I hope each and every one of you doing well. I am here to discuss some politics, and I want to discuss about an issue that seems to be what I would call basically a settled issue, but I don't want to make it seem to be that it's all about women in the military for the sake of women in the military, because there's a hell of a lot more to it than just women in the military. And it's from a right-wing talk show host. Let me set this thing up real quick. Give me just a quick moment here.
How this sounds?
Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to have that thing set up. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. As I said, it's not just about women in the military, although it is about women in the military, but there's also about the idea of how the military is as a concept in a nation state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a clip from the Jesse Kelly show. If you're not familiar with Jesse Kelly, he is a conservative talk show host, one of those torturous type of conservative talk show hosts in the tradition of Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and people like that, and people like that gotten worse over the years. It went from Rush Limbaugh to Sean Hannity, and then it ended up being, Glenn Beck and Mark Levin and everything. Anyway, I'm going to play you this clip. It's called "Women Don't Belong in the Military," and I will comment very shortly thereafter. Give me a second here. I almost had an echo sound, and I don't want the echo sound to ruin the video. Sometimes that happens. So anyway, here we go. Give me a moment, and we will get everything started. Okay, I think there we go. All right, here we go.
How this ends? I mean, look, that's a small example. You know how this ends? How this ends is a U.S. carrier group at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. 10,000 sailors and Marines on board at the bottom of the ocean. That's how it ends. When that day happens, when that day comes, and it will come, if this still continues, you'll know exactly why we're there. I mean, we have official Marine Corps accounts getting in little Twitter fights with Tucker Carlson, of all things. I mean, this is how far the rot has gotten. And the rot is top to bottom. Now, let's not gloss over this fact at all. Part of this has come, especially when it comes to the Navy and infantry units, with the integration of women onto these vessels. It's more than just the LGBTQ insanity stuff. Women have no place on a deployed naval vessel at all. I don't care if that offends you. I need to clarify that. You're welcome to email in, and I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. Ask anyone who was serving in the Navy when women got integrated on the ships. Ask them how that worked out. It's not anti-women. It's not anti-men. It's pro-biology. Stuff a bunch of women on a ship with a bunch of 18-year-old men, and what do you think's going to happen? Romance, drama, disaster. Lots of things are going to happen that don't involve getting the Navy ready or keeping the Navy ready to fight battles. They, of course, decided to try this in other units, too, like my beloved Marine Corps. Oh, we definitely need women in the infantry. We need female infantry officers. One of, if not the first female infantry officer, was there for about 15 minutes before she was pregnant from somebody within her own platoon that she was supposed to be commanding. All this leads to the soft purge of the military. And remember, the soft purge is the studs who are already in. They've been putting in the work. They have wealth of knowledge in their mind. They've been to so many schools, this school and that school, and he's this qualified and that qualified. And you need that guy to train future generations. He's in there. He's a stud. He knows he's a stud. He wants to train future studs and keep up the fight for this country. He doesn't want another seminar finding out how evil he is for being white. He's going to get out, and he's going to go make a pile of money going to do something else. He knows that option's always there for him. Didn't want to take it, wanted to serve his country. He's going to take it now. And possibly more damaging, we'll never know because you can't ever quantify this. Maybe more damaging, that 16, 17-year-old boy. That guy from a tough inner city, he's hard as nails, wants to make his life better. The Iowa farm boy, kid on a swamp boat in Louisiana, cowboy roping cattle up in Wyoming somewhere. Those are the guys who win you wars. The tough as nails 16, 17-year-old that wants something better, wants to be different, wants to be a tough guy. And when he turns on the news and he sees pride flags flying on U.S. Army bases and drag shows happening on U.S. Air Force bases.
Oh, before I continue, I have no problem with pride flags and all of that flowing around. He does. He's one of those from another era. I will let it continue.
You know what he says to himself? He says, I bet I can find other options. I don't need to join that.
Don't join us. Okay. Yes. As I said, this moron is named Jesse Kelly. And there's no one I can't stand more than some right-wing moron that's so fucking sure of himself. I mean, and so ignorant at the same time. I mean, like, he's so fundamentally wrong and so sure of himself. I mean, it's really irritating. But this whole idea of LGBTQ in the military, it's not a problem. The idea of women in the military, it's not a problem. If you're going to say it's a problem, then people like Jesse Kelly after World War II would have been one screaming the loudest against integrating the military forces by race, that racial integration. Racial integration worked out pretty well in our military. So there is that. But he's trying to make it about a woke versus, all about being alpha male and everything like that. And I don't necessarily care about tearing down somebody's masculinity. I mean, if somebody is hyper masculine or whatever, and they're a good person, I could care how they perceive themselves or what have you. I mean, whatever. But this moron, I mean, this guy, he needs to understand something. And it's not about women fighting in combat and the natural order of things being somehow being messed up. That's not what it's about. It's about equality. I mean, he doesn't even think that let the best qualified person that abide by the rules 100% to the letter of the law applies. He is so fundamentally desirous of going back to a time period that doesn't apply to today's world. I mean, and again, we're talking about somebody who is fundamentally wrong about everything. And let's talk about something else. Since he's a talk show host, you're wrong as hell when you're sharing a foreign policy that's no different from someone like Mark Levin, a man who went and praised George W. Bush and Dick Cheney's war from 2001 to 2009, and then criticized Obama for pretty much continuing the Bush-Cheney foreign policy objectives. Probably complained that it might have had a little pride flag on it, metaphorically speaking, but it was still the same objectives. Now, for me, personally, whether it's being done with a Pat Robertson 700 Club logo on it, or whether it's being done with a pride flag on it, if you're droning brown people across the world in the name of neocon wars, then, and just serving defense contractors and all of that is wrong either way. And that's where I stand. So, so when you're a talk show host and you're mimicking the talking points of people like Mark Levin, or people who serve in both the Bush administration and in the Trump administration, like this motherfucker, John Bolton. This guy who never served a day in combat in his life, just like Mark Levin's never served a day in combat in his life. I know that Jesse Kelly's an Iraq veteran, but Jesse Kelly supported these objectives himself, and a very stupid man he is, putting his life in danger. As much of a son of a bitch Jesse Kelly is, and he is a son of a bitch, I don't want his life being put in danger because of neoconservatives and evangelical Christians who wants to go and put us in the brink of World War III in the Middle East. I'm not being partisan, because while evangelical Christians and secular neocons and the Republican Party wants to put us in the brink of World War III in the Middle East, you have woke Democrats, woke liberals, and you have Joe Biden and company, and Hillary Clinton wanting to settle a score with Russia with this war with the Ukraine, because they really believe in their minds and their hearts of hearts that Vladimir Putin put Donald Trump in the White House in 2016, which is also just absolute stupidity. So honestly, people, we don't our leaders in the country don't get any better. I mean, yeah, really. I mean, what in the hell is going on with this country sometimes? But I'm sure he's the kind of person that will look at someone like Abby Martin, who works who has a great program called Empire Files. Somebody who exposes the crimes of a lot of what the U.S. is doing, and the what war abroad, and what it means in regard to civil liberties at home. He'll probably think someone like that is a traitor. And he will also somebody who's a little more on the mainstream that somehow gets hated by the left, although has probably an increasing acceptance on the right. Some people on the right, but still some would be critical of her, like Mitt Romney of Utah. I am talking about former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii. And although I do have some differences with Tulsi Gabbard, she is still very, very correct on foreign policy for the most part. And and she is trying to warn everybody about the prospects of nuclear war, because with this bullshit that's going on between Ukraine and Russia. I mean, why the United States and NATO want to go and fuck with that situation over there is going to go and increase the prospects of World War III in that regard. And as I said, Joe Biden is worthless, and he's doing this to settle a score for supposedly Vladimir Putin getting Donald Trump in the White House in 2016. But when we get Donald Trump back in the White House in 2024, or Ron DeSantis, even worse, what's going to happen is that the evangelical Christians are going to try to pressure either Trump or DeSantis to try to start World War III with Iran. So either way, we're fucked with whoever we get as president, regardless of the party. I mean, they're just all out to get us. But there's been success stories when it comes to women in combat. I mean, there has historically. I mean, you take this soldier here, her name is Lydia, cannot pronounce her last name. How do I pronounce that last name? Lydia Pavlochenko. And she was a Soviet sniper who killed 309 Nazis. 309 Nazis were killed because of this woman. And any problematic nature that happened under Stalin, and it was from my political perspective, here's the thing. Even though the United States and Great Britain done their part to stop Hitler, no other country put a stop to Hitler the way the Soviets did. They gave the Nazis one hell of a fight, and this soldiers like this female soldier here that was that played her part in that sort of thing. So when people like Jesse Kelly, who goes around, and of course he calls anybody who disagrees with him a communist, and then cries his little snowflake tears when liberals call people like him a fascist, but he calls people who disagrees with him a communist. Well, this fascist Jesse Kelly doesn't realize that women can effectively fight in combat, and he's just too partisan and drink too much of the right-wing kool-aid. That's very typical of his sort. So anyway, we have here on the chat line, we have Hot Retarded Chicks. And how are you today? I'm glad you're here. Well, I agree with you. Screw Jesse. Well, I'll go further. And I say this figuratively. I say, fuck Jesse Kelly. Seriously. I'm not going to say literally not literally fuck Jesse Kelly, because I don't swing that way. But the thing about it is that he is a horrible person. I listen to him occasionally on my way to work at night on the radio, because I do listen to a lot of right-wing radio, have over the years, just to see what the other side has to say. And it's done its part to make me the political basket case that I am sometimes. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it. We're the muckrakers of our time. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Remember, we have class warfare to declare. We have warfare to oppose abroad. We have equality for all people to strive for. And we have freedom of speech. And we have freedom of the press to uphold. Because as long as people like Julian Assange isn't free, none of us are free. Which therefore makes us all Julian Assange. Until next time, I will see you all later. You'll probably see a lot of me this week. I'm on vacation. So take care. And until next time, of course, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say music. And here I am saying it. Music.